tuned into Flipping the Birds, a Philly Sports Network podcast.
Eagles fans, welcome all to episode 20 of Flipping the Birds. I'm Brian Cameron, he's Chris Infante, and if you're joining us now, you're in the same boat as us, but we're going to try to keep this upbeat a little bit. We're going to keep this as healthy as a relationship with a Spanish woman. It's going to be great at first. It's going to be chaotic.
Because I'm sorry. Like, if you're a Spanish woman, listening to this right now, you know damn well, as soon as something happens bad with your man in a relationship, you are going full on physical.
It's gonna be a bit chaotic at this point right now.
You are getting the Vaseline out. You're getting your earrings out. You are taking off those nails that you just put on a few hours ago, and you are getting ready to throw down.
Well, I think that's the point. That's pretty much the point we're at right now. I mean,
and I know from
17-9 loss. You want to dig?
No, I'm not gonna deep into that. I'm not gonna dig into that from my childhood. You know,
past memories.
Too many bad memories from those days.
All right, so 17-9 loss. The offense has still not showed up since God knows when. Wentz looked hot and cold. He did not look his best. He definitely held on to the ball too long, but at the same time, he's been a product of what he's been given with the receivers. The offensive line looked terrible today until the second half. Even then, they still look bad. There's so much negative you could take away from this. So let's start on a positive note. The Cowboys are down right now, 10-0 on Patriots.
10-3.
10-3.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it isn't. They did score. But, so the game's going on right now while we're recording. Right now, it's second quarter, 7:49 left. We're in the second quarter. It looks like we pissed off Tom Brady. He didn't have a touchdown against us last week, so he's going full like Tom Brady right now on the Cowboys, and we are here for it.
Speaking of touchdown, Wentz extended his touchdown streak with that garbage time touchdown to Ertz. That's a positive, right?
Sure. I mean it is like it's not a negative because I think Matt Ryan's the only other guy who's done that.
There you go.
So it's really just him and Matt Ryan. So it's
But Matt Ryan has Julio Jones. We got
Greg
Ward, baby.
Jones, got Greg Ward Jr., baby. And as much as we want to clown that, we're genuinely happy that Greg Ward got a chance today.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm sure that's what Liam's saying right now. Liam right now is recording his live stream. Unfortunately, we couldn't do it with him because we are recording right now. And, Brian has a Hispanic wife. I do not have a Hispanic wife, but both of our wives would be very angry with us if we extended our recording time today past what it is right now. So we are just going to go full podcast right now. I don't want my wife may not be Hispanic, but she is 39 weeks pregnant, and I do not want to test that mom's strength at this point.
No. That's actually not a myth.
That's
a real thing that they have.
I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to save my own life and just record. But, as soon as he saw the call up, Greg Ward, I think it was pretty much unanimous all over Eagles Twitter that they were so happy for Greg Ward. Greg, absolutely. He should have been on the team to begin with outside of Matt Collins. He should have taken Matt Collins' spot from week one. Mm-hmm. But here we are, and Matt Collins still doesn't have a catch since God knows when.
You know who does have a catch since God knows when?
All right, let's take a Whiteside.
Yes. We're going to stick to the Greg Ward for right now.
Yeah, we'll get to him in a minute. But, Greg Ward, 7 targets today, 6 catches, 40 yards, and he had a couple runs, too. I think he had a sweep. I don't think they gave him that as a rush, though. That sweep to him.
It's not considered a rush anymore. It's actually considered a pass.
I see him listed on the rushing. I thought that was going under a rush. But he did not have a rush, but he had to make some good plays. Then you got our boy, J-Jaw. Shout out to Michael Kist.
Yes.
J-Jaw who had only 2 catches for 43 yards, 5 targets.
But he had that tiptoe drag swag, whatever they call it.
It was a drop. But Wentz threw it behind him. He had his hands on the ball. When you like the growing, thing is that if you can get 2 hands on the ball, you should have caught it. No matter if someone's in your face, no matter if someone has their hands down your throat, if you have your 2 hands on the ball, you should catch that.
But if your body's taking you another way, the momentum is going to just completely.
Right. But we've seen receivers catch harder balls, like the JJ catch later on that game. He catches a ball that people were like, "Oh, was that a catch?" That definitely wasn't a catch. And then you look at the replay, like, "Holy shit, he made that catch!" Like that's what we could have had since weeks ago. But he drops that pass against Detroit, and then all of a sudden, all is lost in terms of confidence between Wentz or what? Maybe it wasn't Wentz. Maybe it's just game plan wise.
It's definitely the game plan, because if you listen to Peterson week in, week out, did I lose you?
No, I'm right here.
Oh, because your mouth was moving, but nothing was coming out.
That's how I argue sometimes.
Oh, if you listen to Peterson week in and week out, he'll mention multiple times that the game plan was this person was supposed to get the ball on that play. And that I think that's been a big thing with Wentz this year, why he's staring down these receivers, these tight ends, and he's not looking at anywhere. Like you saw multiple times Greg Ward being open on the flat.
Right. Greg Ward open, and he's not looking there. Like, even though, and people are going to say, Ward was doing so good, why didn't he look at him? It's all about timing. It's all about game plan. Like when the play comes in to Wentz, like in practice, he and Peterson and Grow, they go over the game plan. Like, all right, when you're running this play, here's your first option. If it's not open, here's your second option. On that play, Ward is probably not first, second, or third option on that play. It's probably you got Matthews on the deep ball. If he's not there, check out Ertz, check out Sanders, whatever, and then move on to Ward. But that was on Wentz. Like, and I'm going to get to you Twitter jerks in a minute. Like, that was on Wentz. And you want to tell me to call a spade, here you go. Wentz was really bad on that throw. He just stared down Matthews like, hey, guys, I'm going to throw it to him. No matter how many people are on him, I'm going to throw it to him. And he did. And that was an easy interception. I think that was his first game with 2 interceptions in a long time.
Since Atlanta.
Yeah, since Atlanta. So that was like, everybody's like, oh, you threw 2 interceptions. He threw it against in one game. So now he has another 2 interception performance, which I think he's only at 6 interceptions on the year now.
Yeah.
So for a quarterback who now has, let me get actual facts here before, So he had a touchdown today and 2 interceptions. Now he has a 17-6 ratio on the year. That's pretty damn good. The yards may not be there. He threw for 220 something here, 256 yards today. So that brings his total to 25 and change.
Well, we just talked about that too, and he threw 20 more times than Wilson did in this game, and he only has 50 more yards than Wilson did.
Right, because Wilson has, it's. I'm just so frustrated. Wilson went 13 for 25 for 200 yards. He averaged 8 yards a target, and Wentz averaged 5.7. So even though Wentz throwing more, he's not throwing that deep because he had nothing deep. Wilson has everybody deep. He has DK deep. He has Gordon deep. He has Lockett deep. Lockett only had 1 catch, but it went for 38 yards.
And if DK catches those 2 on passes, this game is blown out of water.
Right, and DK Metcalf, had 6 targets, 3 receptions. Those 3 other targets, 3 drops. He could have went 6 for a lot more, but he had 3 drops. So, and I'm going to say this right now: save me those. We could have drafted DK things.
I'm happy with JJ.
I'm done with it. When you see when JJ gets a chance, you see what he does with it. Just because JJ hasn't performed to the tune of what DK has had so many more opportunities this year than JJ has. If you're a person right now calling for JJ to be cut or calling for Howie to be fired because you didn't draft DK Metcalf over JJ, when so many other coaches in the league, so many other scouts in the league, so many other draft experts in the league said DK is not going to make it that long because he's a one route guy. Mm-hmm. You could say he's 2% body fat, whatever he is. He's not going to make it in the NFL because he sucks at routes. Yeah, that's what people went off of, and his game tape. Like he was just going down the field and throwing. You can't really do that in the NFL. Obviously, he's changed his narrative a little bit when he got into the league, but you're gonna blame Howie for whatever 29 other teams did, 28 other teams, including the Eagles, did going into this draft. They all looked at DK saying he's a one-trick pony, he can't do it. Seattle took a chance on him, did it. The Eagles took a chance on a receiver from Stanford who is a red zone nightmare for the defenders, and he's going up to get the ball, and they haven't used him in that way. They haven't used him in the way that he has been successful.
Well, they haven't used him at all, pretty much.
They haven't used him at all, exactly. Yeah. But when Wentz puts that jump ball up for JJ, which I'm going to talk about another target he had on JJ, he puts that jump ball up for JJ on the corner, and he gets it. But when they were down in the red zone, they throw to JJ in the red zone. He throws it at his hip, and the defender got there. Like, throw it up. He can get there. He's a baby Alshon for a reason. Like, Alshon's hurt. Now let's get the next Alshon hurt. Doug Peterson, if you're saying weeks ago that, oh, you know what, well, JJ can't get on the field because Alshon's here, it's going to be pretty hard for him to get on the field. He's been cross-training at 3 different positions, blah, 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 blah. Well, Alshon was hurt today. Mm-hmm. So give JJ the targets. You target Ertz 14 times. I think that was more because the deep ball wasn't there.
Yeah.
And plus the pocket collapsing in like 2 seconds. But that's another issue. You know, give JJ a chance. It's ridiculous that this kid who's so immensely talented, who was your second round pick in the draft this year, because I believe he was drafted after Sanders.
Yep.
He's not getting that much run.
Well, this is a product of what the Eagles have been fighting against for the past several years. I mean, they're fighting against the tide of getting younger. Like, for some reason, they hate getting younger. And the fact that they don't want to get younger, they're being stubborn enough and not playing the young guys. And it's shooting them in the foot. Look at Seattle. They play the young guys, and Russell Wilson is thriving.
It's such a damn shame. Like, it's you know, and for those of you that didn't read my article a couple days ago, shame on you. But, you know, it's time. Like, no matter what the Eagles do for the rest of the season. Like, right now, the Cowboys are losing. They're in the red zone. But right now, they're losing 10-3. They're in the red zone. The graphic came up. Dak Prescott only has 10 touchdowns, no interceptions in the red zone. But if the Cowboys lose today, it's another game up. It's only a game up on the Eagles. If they win, there's 2 games. Pretty much season's over for the Eagles. But Cowboys lose, they have this coming Thursday. They lose right now. This coming Thursday, they got the Bills. And so that you're going from a really good defense in the Patriots to another really good defense in the Bills within 4 games. Mm-hmm. That could be a trap game for the Cowboys. The Bills' offense not great, but their defense is really good. And they still got really good cornerbacks on the Bills. You know, it's not like just because their offense sucks that it takes away from their defense, even though it kind of did that for the Eagles today. But they got the Bills on Thursday. Then the following Thursday, they have the Bears, another great defense. Let's see what quarterback they're facing. Then you got the Rams when you're trying to block Aaron Donald with a banged-up offensive line. Let's see what Jared Goff shows up that day. And then you got the Eagles the week after on the 22nd. So if the Cowboys lose this game,
still a chance.
They could possibly, out of the Bills, Bears, Rams, they could end up losing 2 more of those games.
Now, on this current track that you're on, I'm going to ask you a question I asked you before the podcast. Well, I didn't really ask it to you, but I made a statement to you. if the Cowboys do win today and they get the 2 games on the Eagles, at this point of the season, are you more optimistic with, hey, let's just head into the draft and get younger? Or do you want to just take are you still hoping that they take a shot in the playoffs and lightning strikes in a bottle again?
Well, even if the Cowboys win, there's still obviously a chance for the playoffs.
Yeah, there's definitely chances.
Let's say the Cowboys win. They're 7-4. Then they got the Bills, Bears, Rams. You lose 2 of those games, you're 8-6.
Mm-hmm.
If the Eagles beat Miami, the Giants, and the Redskins, the 3 games before the Cowboys game, they are also 8-6.
Mm-hmm.
So they're tied with the Cowboys going into that game. You win that game, you win the division. It's as simple as that. If the Cowboys win, I think we're done with this damn drama bullshit. Like
I'm so over it.
It's obvious
Alshon
doesn't want to be here anymore. It's obvious that he's not going to be re-signed. I think if Aguilar is re-signed next year, Eagles Twitter's going to fucking erupt.
I don't think he comes back. I think they pull a full reset.
He's probably going to ask for the damn contract that's worth more than what he's making right now annually. He'll probably say, "Oh, I want his agent to be a 4-year, $36 million deal." Hell no, no. And just go for a youth movement at this point. I think if Jordan Howard comes back at some point, who the hell knows if he's coming back? I
don't think he comes back anytime soon, and I think it's
a stinger to like whatever it is.
Yeah, I think he's gonna hold himself out longer because you gotta remember, like, this kid's in a contract year.
I've never heard of a stinger costing you 2 weeks after a bye.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently he suffered the stinger against the Bears, had the bye week, still didn't get healthy. Patriots game still wasn't healthy.
That's like Alshon's ankle.
Still wasn't healthy. And Alshon's apparently hurt. Which Alshon's gonna be harder. It's gonna be harder to move on from Alshon because he his contract and all that stuff. The only thing that they can do that I read from I think it was Jeff McClain, who put out the report about Alshon. Someone told him, Alshon just didn't show up for Wentz's thing in the summer, which is another thing we could get into. But like you could look at it both ways. You could look at it as
could have a family thing going on.
Really just not show up,
mm-hmm.
or did he have something else going on? Did he tell Wentz, "Hey, thanks for the ticket, I can't make it," or did he know about the ticket and was like, "Fuck it, I'm just not gonna go"? Like there's a difference there.
Mm-hmm.
Like if he straight up just didn't show up, then that's on him. But if he didn't show up because he told Wentz at the time, "Hey, I can't make it," and then that person who told Jeff McClain failed to put that part in, then that's a different story. People have lives too. Like it's shit happens, but there's 2 sides to that, so we don't know which side is true. But I just the way that you really get out of Alshon's contract is the TO thing. If they find out that if all these anonymous reports that came out are proven to be Alshon, that's how you get out of his contract, because you can void the language in his contract if he does something that's detrimental to the team and like media wise or whatever, like bashing, like that can void his stuff. And I think that's true for a lot of players in the league. Like if you come out and pretty much like disparage the team in the media and that you deem that the team deems that detrimental, team conduct detrimental to the team, they can void the language in your contract. So if all these anonymous sources to Jacina Anderson, which he's pretty close with, and if it's proven somehow that it's him, I'm pretty sure the Eagles can get out of his contract. Other than that, like with T.O., like he had conduct detrimental to the team, doing his sit-ups in the damn driveway, all that stuff. They were able to suspend him and void his contract for the rest of the year. Actually, I think they just suspended him for the rest of the year, and they just got out of it the next year. But other than that, like if you trade him before June 1st, the dead cap I think is $17 million. If you outright, it's a lot, but if you outright release him, I think his dead cap money is $26 million, I think. So if you trade him, it's less, but it's still a lot. But if you trade him, it's less. But obviously Aguilar's gone. He's a free agent. They should have never picked up his option, but whatever. Or if they were going to keep him around, they should have extended him and it lowered his cap a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's time to treat the Eagles management, Howie Roseman, Jeff Lurie, and Doug Peterson need to get together and do what the 2018 Seahawks did. And if you didn't read my article, here you go. Here's the audiobook version of the damn article.
Give us the QuickBooks version though.
QuickBooks.
Don't go Caroline again.
Is it the Pink Monkey? The Pink Monkey. What'd you use in school? Pink Monkey or Spark Notes?
Spark Notes.
I used Pink Monkey. Pink Monkey was free. Pink Monkey was free, and it got more in depth.
Never really knew about Pig Monkey. Very odd name for it.
I hope my English teachers don't listen to me right now. But you have the anonymous source text from an NFC coach telling Mike Freeman from Bleacher Report that he's seeing Carson Wentz's problems on other teams before. QB accuracy issues, wide receivers lack faith in the passer, wide receivers drop too many passes, QB lacks faith in receivers. Rough cycle.
It's common sense.
We've seen Wentz's accuracy issues. We've seen wide receivers' lack of faith in the quarterback because they really don't finish their routes, so there's not good communication on the routes, and wide receivers drop too many passes. Hello, we've been beating this drum all year. Mm-hmm. QB lacks faith in receivers. We know Wentz only really looks at a couple of receivers because he doesn't want to look at the other receivers. And people on Twitter saying, "Oh, he should have looked the other way." He doesn't want to look the other way because every time he looks that way, the receiver drops the ball. Mm-hmm. And again, I'm not trying to seem like such a Wentz homer, because I'm not. I'm here to support the quarterback of my favorite team. Mm-hmm. Last time I bashed an Eagles quarterback, I think it was Vince Young.
Oh, that was deserving, so.
But since then, we've been through Mark Sanchez too. But
Sanchez wasn't terrible with us. He's Mark Sanchez.
I did not like Sam Bradford, but I can't remember. And back in the Sam Bradford days, I was never really on Twitter as much as I am now. Mm-hmm. But I don't remember me being that critical of Sammy Sleeves. Sammy Sleeves couldn't throw the deep ball. He was accurate because he was Chad Pennington and he just threw check down, and that was it. Mm-hmm. But we've had bad quarterbacks. We've had really, really bad quarterbacks before. And people are calling for Wentz to be benched or traded and all that stuff. You're really willing to go through stages of Kevin Kolb again, Mark Sanchez again, Vince Young again. You really want to go through stages like that because nothing is 100% guaranteed in this league. So if you're trading Wentz, who is taking over him? You drafting a quarterback again in the first round this year? Are you trading for a backup quarterback from another team and hoping he's good in a starter role? What are you doing?
Yeah, there's no ideal way to fix this.
Right. You're just projecting your hate for Wentz because Nick Foles led us to a Super Bowl 2 years ago. And you're like, well, should have kept Foles. Look what he's doing in Jacksonville. Not much. He's missed a lot of games, again, for the however many years he's been in the league.
He's not a seasoned quarterback with Foles. No. It was literally lightning in a bottle with the playoff run.
Whatever year he's in the league, this is that many years of him not finishing 16 games in the season. So if you want to say that about Wentz, say that about Foles too. Because in the playoff game against Chicago last year, they did not win because of Foles. Mm-hmm. They won because of a double doink and the defense. Right. And you lose against the Saints because Jeffrey drops a pass. Now, who knows what happens after that, though? But Jeffrey dropping the pass obviously ended the game, but who knows what happens after that? I love Nick Foles to death, and I will always be very, very happy and appreciative of what he did for the Eagles. But to live in the past, and what I think it was Bleeding Green Nation who tweeted this out today, as far as 2017 Wentz is away from here, so is 2017 Foles. Mm-hmm. You want to say, oh, Foles will do this, Foles will do that. He's in Jacksonville for a reason.
Yeah, he would struggle with these same receivers. It's not all on Wentz.
Crazy, but anyways, back to my Cliff Notes. You got that burner account from Nelson Aguilar. I know I'm not saying it was not Nelson Aguilar, but it's funny shit. It's EFAM33. Like, you couldn't have made it more obvious that it wasn't Nelson Aguilar. Like, if you're gonna make it a burner account, make it not related to anything Nelson Aguilar.
Of course, yeah. Like, I doubt he would do it.
Like, EFAM is short for his middle name. Like it's. And I'm not even gonna try and pronounce his middle name because it's African, and I'm not gonna do that. It's just there's too many syllables in it for me. And that's coming from a teacher who has to deal with a lot of different names. And then you look at the 2018 Seattle Seahawks. Going into 2018, they had a roster after 2017. They had a roster with Richard Sherman, Jeremy Lane, Michael Bennett, Deshaun Sheed, Cliff Averill, Cam Chancellor, and Earl Thomas. But between March 2018, for between March 2018 and October 2018, this is what happened. Richard Sherman released. Jeremy Lane released. Michael Bennett traded to us, but he has great this year. Deshaun Sheed released. Cliff Averill released because of a failed physical, then he retired. Cam Chancellor put on reserve or PUP list, and then he retired. Earl Thomas, he got hurt for the whole season. In October, he was placed on IR. So all 7 players were either a starter or on the roster of both the 2013 Super Bowl winning team and the 2014 team that lost in the Super Bowl. 4 of them were former Pro Bowlers who were part of a historically great defense. Why did they change it? Because Russell Wilson was their guy. Mm-hmm. Like, Russell Wilson was their quarterback. And even though defense wins championships, quarterbacks get you there.
Yep.
And in September 2018, a Sports Illustrated report came out that there was a massive locker room rift in Seattle. There were private arguments being made public. Does that sound familiar? Mm-hmm. And the locker room was divided between support of Russell Wilson and thinking that coaches held him to a different standard than the rest of the players. Does that sound familiar? But then Seahawks management decided it was time to tear down the team that has been so dominant and build around their quarterback. Right now, this team is not built around Wentz.
Correct.
It's built around age. And it's built around loyalty. Loyalty to players who got us that Super Bowl, who helped us get that Super Bowl.
They're clinging on to the past, literally, by age and by what happened.
Right now, people are like, I've seen so many tweets saying, are you going to remember Nelson Aguilar for his 4 really bad years or his 1 year of helping us win a Super Bowl? And a lot of people have been saying, I'm going to remember him for that 1 year. It was 1 year. Of course, it helped us get the Super Bowl, helped the Eagles win the Super Bowl, but still, that's 1 year out of 5 years. That's probably going to if a team pays him for what he did 2 years ago, great, more power to him. I hope it's not the Eagles.
I doubt it's going to be the Eagles. I think they're going to go. They have to go young this offseason. Like, there's no other way around it. Like, you can't really replace this bad roster with aging players with more aging players. Like, it just does not work. You can't fight the tide anymore. Like, this, you can't continue to put your quarterback in this bubble of where people are questioning him and Foles, or people are questioning if he's even a good quarterback. Like, this is what happened to McNabb. McNabb was great. Yeah. After the OTO thing, it was all McNabb this, McNabb that. They traded McNabb. Then Vic was here. Then it's just, you got to embrace what it is. Wentz is going to be here until God knows when. He's only 26 years old. He's a phenomenal quarterback, probably one of the best quarterbacks in that draft, if not the best quarterback in that draft. But you got to put him around the right players, the right coaches. Yeah, definitely way over him. He needs better coaches around him. I'm not talking about Peterson. I'm talking about the coordinators. He needs a better wide receiving group. Like, you need like you said, they have to be built around Wentz. Like, if you look at Kansas City, they built the wide receivers around Pat Mahomes' ability to launch the ball. Tyreek Hill, speed. Mecole Hardman, speed. What's the other kid's name? Deontay Johnson.
Well, Mecole Hardman was more because they didn't think Tyreek Hill was going to be available at all this year.
But he's fast.
He's just beating his kids.
Stops. What's the other kid's name? Dante Johnson?
I don't know. I think so.
Whatever his name is, speed. Like, they built it around Mahomes. Now you got to do the same with Wentz. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have to do it for Wentz for the sake of your team and for the sake of this kid's future.
Right. Like after 2017, they went from. Let me get my names correct here. again, I don't want to be held. So in 2017, they went 9-7. The Seahawks. Mm-hmm. They had Darrell Bevel as their offensive coordinator, Chris Richard, defensive coordinator, as obviously Pete Carroll was still the head coach.
Of course.
2018. If my computer loads, Jesus Christ, my computer's as slow as the Eagles receivers.
That's terrible.
So now 2018. Change in both coordinators. Pretty much all staff except for Pete Carroll. They brought in Brian Schottenheimer. Defensive coordinator was Ken Norton because Chris Richard went to the Cowboys. Then I think Tom Cable left as offensive line coach. They brought in someone else. He brought in people that worked with his vision. Mm-hmm. Obviously, his vision was being met by Darrell Bevel, wasn't being met by Chris Richard. It was being met by Brian Schottenheimer and Ken Norton. And again, going into 2018, ESPN gave them a 16% chance to win the NFC West and had a projected win total of 7.5. Sports Illustrated pegged this team as a 7-9 team because they lost all those players that I said before. But what happened in 2018? They went 10-6, and they fell behind the Rams in the division. But they went 10-6, and they lost to the Cowboys in the wild card round. But no one thought they were going to the playoffs. There was a few outlets that said the Seahawks are going to shock the world. They're going to go to the playoffs. But for the most part, at least 80% of people out there who report on this as a job thought the Seahawks were going to do nothing.
I thought they were going to be a dumpster fire, especially after Metcalf.
And what did Wilson do? He threw for 3,448 yards, which didn't rank high at all in the league, but he still had 35 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. They had the best rushing attack in the league. They had Chris Carson had 1,100 yards, 1,151 yards. Mike Davis, who just got cut by the Bears a couple weeks ago, had 514 yards. Their first-round pick, Rashad Penny, had 419 yards. Russell Wilson had 376 yards rushing to go on top of his 34, almost 3,500 yards passing. So they were balanced, very balanced, and their defense balled out too. It went from elite to pretty much average. But when you go from the Legion of Boom to what they did, obviously you're going to fall from grace a little bit because you lost so many players. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they still had Bobby Wagner, but they still had really good players on that defense. They brought in Barkevious Mingo. They had Shaquille Griffin. They had Trey Flowers, who saw
Trey Flowers
today.
is nasty.
Trey Flowers was really good today against us. They brought in insider trader Michael Kendricks.
Who's still not facing prison time.
His trial was again moved to February. Dude, just giving these people money from his insider trading, but they still were. Bradley McDougall, their safety, had 78 tackles. Trey Flowers had 67. Shaquille Griffin had 61. Their linebacker, obviously, Bobby Wagner had 138 tackles. The next non-corner or secondary player who had a lot of tackles, Jerron Reed, defensive tackle, 50 tackles. Like every other player before Reed was a corner or a safety, but it was everyone on that defense making plays. Mm-hmm. So the Seahawks just pretty much tore it. I don't want to say tore it down. They tore it halfway. Like they didn't take the paper and completely rip it in half. They took the paper and they cut out a little piece, and then they just taped on another piece, and then brand new piece of paper. Mm-hmm. Like they took a. What do I want to say here?
They retooled.
I don't want to say retooled. I want to make an analogy. I don't just want to say retooled.
They remixed the Legion of Boom.
That would be that's taking it easy. Okay, so they retooled. Okay, no.
I'm sorry, Shakespeare.
What they did was. They took, I'm going to go off of LJ's car analogy today on Twitter. And he had an analogy of a car, but it wasn't in the way I'm going to use it now. He took the Seahawks took a 1969 Chevelle, and that battery that's 40 years old, over 40 years old, 50 years old, who is obviously going out. They took that battery out, and they put a new battery in. That battery that was in there was the Legion of Boom battery. And they took it out, and they put the Russell Wilson battery in, and they added some kinks into the car to go around that battery to make it good. That Legion of Boom battery that was in there was trying to power a car that had other aspects to it. They put the battery in that fit that car. That's what the Seahawks did. That's what it's time for the Eagles. Oh,
it's time for the Eagles to be the Eagles.
Exactly.
I got you, bro. I got you. I understand.
But like the Eagles, they just need to like move on from if Aguilar if he didn't do that burner count, but so Aguilar he needs to change scenery. I wish him all the luck in the world.
He's not a bad kid.
He's not a bad kid. You see him with the media. He's open with the media. That's another reason why I really don't think he was the burner account. Like he's been open with the media.
He said it like who's gonna defend me? Like this is wild.
Yeah. Are you gonna post that on Twitter? Like post it on Twitter. Like it's not me. It's obviously not like he's open with the media, but he obviously it's not clicking for him on the Eagles right now. No. It's time for him to just go somewhere else and be good somewhere else. That's fine. Just don't win anything. It's time for Jeffrey to go somewhere else. I don't think Howard will be back here next year. I think, especially if he's just like a stinger that he's going to sit out with
I'm
more.
not going to lie, though. Like, the idea of Ajayi and Sanders is kind of intriguing.
You saw it today.
It looked good.
Ajayi looked good today.
Yeah, it looked really good. Like, not using Ajayi so much because, like, to kind of keep him fresh. Like, he looked good.
I mean, I do want to see a three-headed monster of Howard, Ajayi, and Sanders because I think that would just destroy other defenses. But
they won't run the ball enough for us to see that.
They won't. Like that's the thing. Like they went from Russell Wilson having to pass the ball so much, and then refusing to give Marshawn Lynch the ball at the 1 yard line and all that stuff, to being a running team. Mm-hmm. And you saw what that did to the Seahawks. This is a pretty much. And again, I said it in my article. I'm not equating this Eagles defense to what the Seahawks had. But what they have are personalities. They're not playing as a team right now. They're playing as individuals. And that's what the Eagles have been doing all season. They've had players playing individually. They have Aguilar playing for his contract next year. He really doesn't care. It doesn't look like he cares about.
Well, he's playing for his contract next year, but playing for somebody else.
Yeah, for someone else. Like he's trying to show off to other play. He's trying to I dropped the ball because Wentz didn't give me a good ball. I'm still salty from his quote against the Cowboys when he was like, I could have, if I had a better ball, I probably would have caught that.
Yeah, they need to have like remember that Staples button where it's like it says easy on it, you just hit it and everything just like he disappears like the island far away. Is that Staples or Office Max?
I think that's Staples.
That's what the Eagles need to do right now with their offense.
No, it's the easy button.
That's what you said, easy button.
Oh, the easy button, yeah, okay. So right now, all right. So let's look at quickly at the top court free agents next year.
Eagles or overall?
Overall.
I'm fine. That's cool. Rock with it.
You got Chris Jones. He's probably gonna get franchised. Clowney's a free agent.
He's gonna resign.
But he's not gonna get a free franchise. I think he has an agreement with Seattle that he won't get franchised. Amari Cooper's a free agent.
He's gonna resign.
He's either gonna get franchised or no. You can't get you can't have two franchises. So what are Cowboys?
That's gonna be iffy though, because Dak. Call it what it is. Dak has earned more money than what the Cowboys want to pay him this season.
Oh, 100%.
I'm not gonna say he deserves it completely, like because he's a great quarterback.
He deserves $50 million guaranteed.
For my benefit.
$55 million guaranteed, Cowboys. Just put it all on the cap. But you got Yannick Njoku.
That would be intriguing.
He's probably going to get franchised too, but AJ Green.
32 years old. I don't want no more old players.
Chris Harris?
He's an exception.
Shaq. But then you got to think of is Schwartz going to be back next year? But Schwartz, I said today, I've been clowning Schwartz all year, but these last few weeks he's been coaching his ass off. You give him a corner, you give him a DB who can fucking tackle.
Did you
Ronald
see that
Darby.
Ronald Darby? Yeah, did you
Ronald
see
Darby.
that Ninja Turtle move that he pulled off, and he just threw his whole body into Chris Carson, and Carson just kept running like
He
nothing?
put his hands in his pockets and he just launched from his fucking feet and said,
Unless he was looking for like a chest bump or something.
Him and Nate Jerry. Jerry just throws his body at people and hopes for the best.
Poor guy.
But then, so right now the Eagles are running 4-3, and then more nickel than anything else. But so Shaquille Barrett's more of a 3-4 offensive outside linebacker. Dante Fowler's 3-4.
I don't want Fowler.
Jamie Collins fits the scheme. Byron Jones is available. So that's the thing with
Jamie Collins. I don't know if you read about this.
They picked Zach Brown over him. I know. I don't want to talk about it.
I gotta cut me off like that. You hurt my feelings like that.
Okay, but I don't want to talk about bad things like that.
Where is Zach Brown though?
Zach Brown he's in a band. You got Eric Armstead from San Francisco, who's a 4-3 defensive end. But the thing is, they don't need defensive end. They need linebackers.
Yeah.
You
got linebackers and receivers right now.
Emmanuel
safety backups.
Emmanuel Sanders is a free agent, but he's 33.
No.
Byron Jones, another Cowboys player who needs to be something.
They're not going to be able to afford.
Marcus Peters needs a contract. Then you got HaHa Clinton-Dix. Do they move on from Jenkins?
They wanted to draft HaHa Clinton-Dix not so long ago. When he came out, they wanted him.
I wanted them to do it too.
I don't know why they didn't sign him this offseason.
You got Ndamukong Suh.
No. Where the hell is he? In Tampa?
He's nowhere. I think. Oh, is he in Tampa? I think he's in Tampa. Maybe he's in Tampa.
He took Gerald McCoy's spot, right? In his number?
Yeah, he did. Gerald McCoy is. Speaking of Gerald McCoy, he's a free agent too.
Nah, Malik Jackson.
You got Malik Jackson coming back, so there's a lot. There's gonna be names out there, but it's like you can't.
The focal point has to be to get young. If you add an older player, it has to be an older player that's in their prime and dynamic enough to last at least 3 or 4 more years.
Right, and look at it receiver wise. Now I'm looking at team by team. Cardinals, Larry Fitzgerald.
No, I mean he's an ageless wonder, but no.
You got Chris Hogan on the Panthers. He's a free agent. Torrey Smith is retired. You got Rashard Higgins. He got released because he's druggy. Was it Higgins? It was Callaway. So Higgins is available. Off the Cowboys, you got Tavon Austin and Amari Cooper available.
Yeah, but they're not leaving Dallas.
Emmanuel Sanders, Danny Amendola, Jermaine Kearse, Geronimo Allison, Devin Funchess. You got Just draft some young guys. You got Laquan Treadwell.
No.
You got Josh Gordon. Demaryius Thomas.
How old is Josh Gordon now? 28?
I think so. 27, 28. Cameron Meredith.
Isn't he a free agent already?
But people probably at least actually, yeah. Robbie Anderson. There we go.
That would be great, but
there we go.
I don't trust Howie to make the move right now, though.
Eagles have a ton of free agents. I think they signed him. They can get him back next. He's a restrict. I'm pretty sure he's
they can match any. Yeah, they can match any offer he gets or refuses.
Aguilar, Ajayi, Curry, Darby, Jake Elliott will be resigned.
Darby and Mills are not going nowhere. I'll tell you that much. That's not happening.
Darby should.
He's not.
Unless he learns how to tackle. Jernigan's a free agent. McCown's a free agent. McLeod's a free agent.
Yeah, he's not going nowhere either.
Jalen Mills, Peters needs to retire.
Yes.
Sproles needs to retire.
Can we just tackle something real quick? What? Andre Dillard. The fact that they benched him at halftime.
Because he's not a right tackle.
Exactly. But my thing is, when they drafted him, they said, we're not going to train him at right tackle. We're not going to do it. He's a left tackle. And they went against the word, and they did it today, and they made the kid look like a fool, bro.
He got his ass dominated.
That's the mind-blowing thing of why the play development is so poor. And his
presser after the game, no, we just made a move. Well, you should have made the move prior to the game. Why put him in that position?
That's what's mind-blowing about it. He's the left
tackle of the future, not the right tackle of right now. He's the left tackle of the future. Once Peters is done, he's done. Dillard's in, and he's shown that he can hold his own. And Dillard came out and said this week, someone asked him, what's the difference? How's the transition between left tackle and right tackle? And Dillard's response was, are you a lefty or a righty? And the reporter said he's a righty. And Dillard said, try writing with your left hand.
Exactly.
Like,
But my thing is, like, I really hope this does not shake this kid's confidence. Like, he's been balling out when Peters is down. If this shakes his confidence,
I
I'm
don't think
gonna
it
be so
will. It
pissed
seems
off.
like just by seeing how he talks and all that stuff, I think he's fine. But it's some of these damn moves by this coaching staff is
It's poor player development.
fucking mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And I am saying mind-boggling. If you've seen Blades of Glory before, you know what I'm talking about. But but like, and I said this on Twitter before. I think it's time for Doug Peterson. They just completely let Mike Groh go.
Oh hell yeah! Don't let him go. Send him out like the flying out the Novacare.
You should, and just be your own offensive coordinator for the last few weeks.
Just do it. You have nothing to lose.
Right now, the Niners and the Cardinals are the only two teams where their head coaches are the offensive coordinators.
Oh wow, that's the first.
I'm allergic to this bullshit. See? Now, and so you see how the Niners are doing. Niners aren't that different from the Eagles team on offense.
They're really not.
Tight
They
end
just got the speed,
offense.
and they got youth.
Yep, tight end
young
offense with a really good run game.
And they're young.
With some receivers who catch the ball sometimes.
And they're young.
And they're not that old. And a quarterback who just does enough to win. Eagles have a quarterback who does enough to win a lot of times. He didn't today before you all fucking cut my off.
Let's make that clear. Wentz had a very bad game today. We'll leave it at that.
We're not saying he wasn't the reason why, but I'm saying he wasn't the sole reason why that they lost.
Moving on.
No. You got me going. Because I hope some of you are listening right now. You want to see my stuff about you want to come on my tweets and my mentions and say that I'm a Wentz stan or I'm a Wentz apologist, and especially the one where the damn defensive tackle was on the damn ground. And he comes up and he pokes the ball out of Wentz's hand, and you say Wentz has to get the ball out. He needs to make a play on that play. He needs to feel that the defender's there. He didn't feel him because he came from behind. He was on the damn ground. Like some people were saying he stepped over him, so he knew he was there. Watch the video. He didn't step over him. He dropped back. The defensive tackle was blocked behind him. He pulled up. Defensive tackle kind of got up, and he punched the ball from behind. That's what he did. Yep. Wentz is about to make a play. If you want to criticize Wentz, criticize him for the ball that went 10 miles up in the air over Miles Sanders. I'm going to give some more credit to Wentz on that because there was a lot of wind on that play. But
if you actually look at the video again,
the second one to Sanders was awful. Wentz obviously telegraphed that one to Matthews on his interception.
It was just a bad game. They're allowed to have bad games. Like, did anybody forget about Aaron Rodgers last year? Like, he had a terrible year last year with his receivers and even the offense that led to Mike McCarthy getting fired.
It happens. It's just so frustrating that right now. There's a select few fans right now on Eagles Twitter that are seeing things from both sides, and the majority is Wentz can do no wrong or Wentz can do everything wrong, and then in the middle there's some people like Wentz has allowed bad games, but we're also able to criticize the whole team, like it's look at it as a whole, and then people will say no, it wasn't him at all, blah 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 blah, and then you have people who are like it was completely Wentz. Blah, 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 blah. Us, as far as, like, I'm not saying we're Eagles media because we're not. We're just two bald guys. I got some hair.
Yeah, you got a little bit more hair than me.
I got a little bit more hair. One really bald guy and one semi-bald guy on a podcast who are in the middle. I might veer towards the one side a lot more than other people, but I'm realistic. I'm not that naive to say that it's all on Wentz. It's to be naive and say that the offense was going to be completely fixed today because we got some Greg Ward and Alshon Nelly was out. No, I'm not going to say that. What I'm going to say is that finally we got some receivers who look like they want to play the damn game. And you saw that with Greg Ward. He was catching almost everything that came out his way. JJ was going up for the ball.
Here's a tease wearing the number 84. I'm telling you, he's teasing us. I was getting little Antonio Brown glimpses of like 84.
Yeah, I wonder what Antonio Brown's going to wear when he comes here, though. Oops.
Spoiler alert.
but you know, like, watch those plays. Watch his sacks. And I'm telling you, more often than not, you're going to see a pocket that collapsed in less than 2 seconds. And you'll say he should get the ball out by then. Who's getting open in less than 2 seconds? No one.
Very true. So, as Chris has vented, he's let it out. He's turning a little red, so I'm gonna nip this in the bud real quick. We're gonna turn to our This Week in Birds Talk segment that we're bringing onto the podcast now, where we collect all the questions that we receive on our PSN Discord, where we see on Facebook. So right now I have on Discord.
The Facebook ones, just a preface, the Facebook ones aren't so much questions. They're just ridiculous things that I find on Facebook this week.
So we got 2 questions so far in the Discord. First one is from Ward Season. He says, with a lot of finger pointing going towards Grow, how much blame should be put on Doug for the offensive struggles?
I mean, Peterson does call the plays.
Yeah.
But Gro's in his ear game planning.
And they're the ones who they bring him the plays. Like, Gro's will bring the plays from the running backs coach, from the offensive line coach, that they feel like we should run on the coming Sunday. And Peterson kind of nitpicks on what he wants to do. So, being the fact that Peterson does nitpick, do you feel like, I mean, I blame Peterson for hiring Gro, for staying in that comfort level, not reaching
why
outside.
Why did Peterson talk to Gro's dad?
I don't think they have parent-teacher conferences in
they should
in
at
the
this
real
point
world
right now. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna head down the road to Randolph High School. That's where Mike Groh went to high school in the 90s. And I'm gonna talk to his teachers. I'm gonna see who taught him, because there's definitely teachers still there from the 90s. I'm gonna see who taught him. I'm gonna see if there's any pictures of him on the wall. I'm gonna see what he looked like in high school. I'm gonna say a lot.
Well, while you do that, we got a second question from our PSN regular, Jordy Fighter 14. What coaching spots need to be fixed? Which we did discuss earlier in the podcast. We feel like, I personally feel like it's offensive coordinator and wide receiving. Like, it has to be those 2. I wouldn't touch the quarterback coach because
I think the only coaches right now, and I'm saying this because one of the coaches I'm about to say I called to be fired a few weeks ago.
You're still going on that? Okay, go ahead.
Let me fucking talk. I just said I think there's 3 coaches, and one of which
that's what you said. You said there's 3 coaches. I said
there's 3 coaches that need to be saved next season, and one of which I called to be fired a few weeks ago. If you let me finish, I think Peterson's obviously safe. He has a long leash. Peterson. He won this damn Super Bowl. I don't care.
He just got an extension. He's not going nowhere.
If you want to say it was Reich or it was DiFilippo or whatever, it was Peterson as the head coach. He deserves some slack.
It was Juan Castillo.
Juan Castillo. Bring him back for DC. I think it's Stoutland. Jeff Stoutland, the offensive line coach. No,
you're saying they're safe.
No, 4 coaches.
They're safe.
They're safe.
Okay.
4 coaches. So Peterson, Stoutland on the offensive side. On the defensive side, Schwartz for another year, only if they get him the players he needs. Mm-hmm. Because Darby is not a player he needs.
Jalen Mills is a player he needs, though.
Jalen Mills is a player he needs. He loves Jalen Mills, and right now I'm getting more.
I freaking love Jalen Mills right now.
Man crush on him coming out of the draft because I was like, wow, we got Jalen Mills in the 7th round. Holy shit. And then I was like, maybe I was wrong. Maybe that's why he was 7th round pick. And now I'm back on his thing. Even though I'm still getting tired of his damn dancing around. Every time DK dropped the ball, Jalen Mills had a damn prom out there. He was out there like dancing like he had his dates with him. And like, Jesus Christ, Jalen.
All right, focus.
And number 4, Phillip Daniels. the defensive line coach.
Okay, yeah, obviously.
Like, that defensive line was eating today.
Yeah. 5 sacks, right?
Yeah, like Philip Daniels brought Anthony Rush and Antonio Dixon. Antonio Dixon? No, that was years ago.
Who?
Dixon was years ago. Dixon was years ago. Listen.
It's been a long Sunday.
It's been a long time.
All right, so you're with it.
He brought that Eagles defensive line to play, and that's what they've been doing week in and week out so far, and that's been helping the secondary. Like, this defensive line has been Albert Huggins and Anthony Rush.
There we go.
With Derek Barnett, with Brandon Graham, with Josh Sweat has been really good. Jannard Avery has been really good. He's more of a linebacker, but Philip Daniels worked his ass off with these guys. I would like to see Sharif Miller at some point and see what the hell he can do, but
he was inactive though, guy. This is a rookie thing.
Right. So but then you look at the linebackers. Bradham had a good game back. You got T.J. Edwards, who's very good. Cam was very good. He's a free agent too next year. Get rid of Jerry. Get rid of Riley. Give Singleton some more snaps on defense. You saw the energy Singleton brought on special teams. Like, he could bring that on defense too.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Let him play.
All right. So our last question comes from a regular Flipping the Birds. Our guy Isaac. He says, "How much would you blame this loss to old Walk It To Him?"
What does that mean?
How much of the blame does Wentz deserve for this loss? Sorry, I got to bring you up to speed on that.
Sorry, I missed that reference.
we were looking at each other like.
What does that mean?
I thought you were signaling me to talk first.
I guess I missed that reference. But listen, the captain of the offense is the quarterback.
Correct.
Wentz missed two really bad throws on Fritz to Sanders. He telegraphed an interception. He short hopped a few passes. Some were a lot of
passes behind a lot of receivers. So.
Right. Some passes were with pressure right up in his grill. Wentz didn't have a good game. That's it. It's plain and simple. Wentz is borderline elite. I'm not saying he's elite, but he's not just good. He's not average. He's borderline elite. You've seen what he can do when he's on. But there's so much shit going against him right now. Mm-hmm. It's a new receiver every week. Today he was playing without his all-pro right side of his offensive line. He started with Andre Dillard starting at right tackle the first time ever, and who was not comfortable there, and Dillard was getting his ass kicked.
Yeah.
Big V was getting his ass kicked at right guard too, and then the second half, they started pretty good. Big V and Pryor was really good.
He looked really good,
and then it just stopped. He had Kelsey at some points didn't even look like he was under a play.
Did you see that one play where Kelsey got manhandled by the defensive tackle and Miles Sanders was still running with the ball and Kelsey just looking at Sanders what I do?
Stood there So
it's not the first time that's happened this season.
No. Who knows if Kelsey retires next year either? He's been flirting with retirement the last couple of years. I know he signed an extension through 2021, but that doesn't mean he's not going to retire. Maybe he looks at this season all right, I'm fucking done.
It's possible.
So the line had pressure and went to his face pretty much within a second and a half, 2 seconds. When I looked at the videos of all the sacks, I held my finger on the timer, on the little what's it fucking called? On the little, when you press play, that little the dot that goes across. When you press play on the video, you hold.
I don't know. I know what you're talking about. I just don't know the word.
So I held my finger on the dot, and I would drag it left and right, so I could see. And as I dragged it on a few plays, the time didn't even move. It went there was one where it went after the ball got snapped. I was like, all right, so here's when the ball got snapped, and then I would move it a little bit, and the time didn't move, but it went from a defender being in a 3-point stance to a defender being in his face. It was less than a second. And then I would keep going, and then a second would pass by, and then that hand was really up in his face. Like, so it was like a second and a half of Wentz, between Wentz snapping the ball and Wentz getting pressure in his face. So the line was awful. So
I think I agree. I would say Wentz had like 25 to like 30% of blame of the loss because some of the throws he should have had back. He should, like the Arcega one where Arcega's Whiteside momentum was taking him to the left and Wentz threw it to the right, and the Ertz pass when he threw it behind Ertz's back. There's a lot of things he could have back, and Wentz, he's got to be better. That's all it is. They just got to be better next week.
Anyways, let's see. First thing we find on Facebook, I'm gonna call this the Facebook funnies. So in one group today, this person posted in there. This came from a Rams fan, and hi, honey. Sorry, my wife is coming down from upstairs from her relaxation, from her Hallmark movies.
Oh, it's Hallmark season. I hate it.
Don't watch Hallmark.
That's terrible.
If there's one thing you can get from this podcast today, don't watch Hallmark. It's all the same shit. Like,
okay, just move on. No,
I'm not gonna move on.
Can't rant about this.
Like, it's all the same shit.
It's the same movie, just different actor.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
White girl comes from big city to small town to help small town build up their business. Another big city hotshot comes into the town and is like, "Oh wait, you need my help, right?" And then they're all like, "Oh no, I don't need your help. You're a man, and I'm a woman, and I'm an independent woman. I don't need no man." And then all of a sudden they fall in love and they have kids and happily ever after. Or white woman is married. Stud man comes in to help out.
Why did you say it like that?
With their problem. She realizes that she's not happy with her husband, so they're like, "You know what? I'm done with you." And then she's like, "Oh, I'm so sad. I'm so single," and stuff. And then all of a sudden she gets married to the stud man that comes in. It's the same damn movie, and it's either the girl from Full House. I watch it with you because I'm forced to. Because while I'm sitting on the couch and you're like, "I don't want to watch this."
This week in the life of Chris and Fonzie.
Take the damn remote and then I'm like, "All right, just put on whatever you want." And what do you go to? Hallmark. All right. Anyways,
let's focus. Facebook funnies. So someone write down here. Foles was perfect for the offense you guys run. I definitely think they could have kept him and traded Wentz. They would have got a huge haul for Wentz and could have used it to build the defense and could be long-term contenders. Now they paid Wentz and the defense is trash and are going to struggle to contend for the foreseeable future. Can we not even comment on that one? Because that one I feel like it comments on itself.
All right, let's see. Where is the... Let's see. There's another one. Let me see. Let me go to my Twitter. Because I put a few on Twitter that was very good. Let's see. Oh, I forgot I need to search my name. But like I remember one time I tweeted out, Facebook is a weird place, and then I had some people coming after me because they run Facebook groups, and they were like, "But you're on there posting your shit all the time." I'm like, "Well, it's because just gotta promote my brand. Doesn't mean they're not weird." So we had one the other day that suggested. So here it is. Wentz came back from an ACL tear Week 3, 2018 against the Colts. Wentz went 25 for 37, 255 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Eagles win 20-16. Foles came back from a broken left clavicle Week 11, 2019 against the Colts. Foles went 33 for 47, 296 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Colts win 33-13. I'm not sure if this is a fair comparison. Both off major injuries came back against the same opponent who coach is familiar with both quarterbacks. Why are you comparing?
I don't get why that's even relative to
Like, why post that? What's the point? So
let's do one more.
So you could stir the pot of Foles versus wants to be, and that which is going to get even more after today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna keep on going.
All right, so I think this is my favorite one, and then we'll end on this one. I forget what day I posted this. I posted this on the 16th. This was posted on Facebook on the 13th. I posted it on Twitter on the 16th. Conspiracy theory, team problems. Hear me out. All of a sudden, Howard and Alshon not playing. Jordan and Ajayi playing. Jordan Matthews.
Mm-hmm.
Carson praises Jordan Matthews as perfect teammate on, but especially off the field. All after a bye week, upcoming pivotal Super Bowl rematch, and in 2 weeks, players are not going to suit up for an insanely important game. I really think Howard and Alshon are making a statement, as are the Eagles. Why would Howard play knowing the Eagles are not trying to sign him? Alshon is benching himself rather than playing a possible season-ending game for our playoff hopes. Prediction: we lose, and both of them are not here next year. Oh, and Howard won't talk to local media?
It's just fluff.
Eagles Twitter is an insane asylum. But Eagles Facebook, if Eagles Twitter is an insane asylum, Eagles Facebook is Arkham Asylum.
I was waiting for you to throw that in there.
Like,
if nobody knows that's a Batman reference, just in case.
Like, look up Arkham Asylum and look at the crazies that are in there, and that's Facebook.
So now that we finished this week in Bird Talk, I just want to lead the podcast with this real quick because this is something we really talked about. So Greg Bell, who's a Seahawks writer in Seattle, says KJ Wright says Seahawks knew exactly what Eagles were doing. They were calling out Philly's plays before they ran them on certain downs / distances, tight end screens in particular, which goes back to everything we're saying in this podcast. You have any final words?
Grow a set and fire grow. See what I did there? I used grow with a W, but then grow with a... Don't oh my God me. I'm trying to have a serious podcast here, and you're making fun of my puns. Like, thousands of people are going to listen to this and listen to my wife belittle me.
Because your puns are like punishments.
Oh, shut up. He said because my puns are like punishment. She says good one for you. Fuck this. I'm done. That's it.
All right, guys. So tune in next week. We'll be back after the Eagles either
beat
win
down
or lose.
Miami. Beat down Miami. That's what we need. To beat down to Miami.
We hope that everybody has
Last
a
time
good
they faced Ryan
holiday,
Fitzpatrick. So,
a good Thanksgiving and everything. And we hope that we gave you guys a little bit excitement still about the season, I could say.
Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. I hope you're all very thankful for many things in your life.
I'm thankful for you. How about that one? Look, I'm thankful for you.
For you too. That was
There we
so
go.
nice.
You're being sarcastic.
I'm not being sarcastic at all.
Your eyes just went full like Asian on me.
But don't be racist on me.
I'm not being racist. All right, guys. Have a good night, man.
Go Birds.